So in the previous video about quant, I talked about having a move on the downside in order to reach to maybe around this very important support area all the way down here, about 75 to 80 bucks. And one of my viewers said that's a very scary scenario. And in this video, I want to talk about the comments that I made a bit more and tell you why you shouldn't really be scared at the moment. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are having a great time with your family and loved ones. And first, let's zoom in more and see what is happening just in the short term. So do we have this shadow and also this one on some other charts? Let's go maybe on Binance's one. Okay. No, as you can see, we do not have that. So we shouldn't really count these things into our analysis. And with that, I think there is still a bullish possibility in here going on in QNT. And we can say, look, this is 5 wave down into A. Followed by that, we can have a correction for wave B. Maybe, yes, I guess we can have, if we just take this one from this point, an A, B, C, D, E structure, a triangle, and then another 5 wave on the downside into our C leg. And we can have, we talked about this so many times, a series of 1-2s. You see, we can say this is 1, this is 2, and then we're going to get big move up into wave 3, 4, 5. Excuse me. Let's just draw the waves again. And on a higher degree, this orange 5 wave up is going to be into a larger degree wave 3, and then correction for 4, another move up into wave 5, and so on and so forth. And basically, this point, according to this possibility in quant, is going to be our final bottom. Now, what is the invalidation point for this possibility? We talked about it before, you know it. It's going to be taking this low down here about $102.50. Why is that? You see, I am actually convinced that we are having from this point to about here a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside. And if we get a move down in quant in order to take this low at that point, I'm just not going to be able to find an impulse starting from this point and ending to about this height. And on the other hand, I also cannot argue that this is going to be, for example, maybe an A, B, C in form of a flat structure, because into our B leg, we must have an ABC or a WX, generally some sort of a correction and not an impulse. And it means, well, okay, if we do take this low at that point, odds are this is going to be an ABC zigzag. And it means that we are going to continue this move down a bit more in order to take the lowest low in here, about $94.50. Now, this is a very important point, and I need you to pay full attention to what I'm about to say right now. If we go down in quant and we take this low, I actually do not expect for us to go a whole lot lower, and I'm expecting maybe from these areas to get a very solid bounce back in order to start the next phase of the bull run. Why is that? You see, this is a very important support from weekly and daily time frame at the same time between, let's say, 101 to about $110. Now, at the moment, we are above this support, which is a fantastic sign. And here's the deal. I do not really want to see us hanging around this area anymore. And soon, again, I need to see a bounce back in order to continue our uptrend, because you know my stance on these things. If we hang around a support area more than usual, at that point, chances of getting a break of it is just going to get higher and higher. But as long as we're not getting a break of this thing, we can definitely remain optimistic. Now, here's a very important point. When can we say that this support is broken? When we see a candle close in weekly time frame under here and then pull back and a continuation of the move down in order to take this low. So if you want to argue that this is broken, you need to go on weekly chart and see the signs for it. But for now, we definitely do not have that. And for example, if we get a move down, maybe do something like this and also take this low, and followed by that a very quick bounce back, and all of these things are going to happen in the same week, well, okay, for all we know, in weekly chart, we're just going to have a massive green candle, which is going to be a fantastic sign. And for now, at least, I am betting on that scenario to happen. So that's why I believe for now, we just do not have anything to be worried about. And I do not believe that if we take this low at that point, we're just going to continue our move down in order to reach to about this very important level. No, this kind of price action requires a decent sell-off in a lot of altcoins, including QNT. And for now, I don't really see any evidence suggesting something like that might happen. So again, I want to be very clear. I did talk about having a move down and reaching to about here in the previous video, but for now, this is not going to be my primary case. This is a very important point. And even as long as we're not taking this low, we can actually consider the bullish possibility in quant. I want you to fully understand this. Now, let's say, okay, we are going to get a move down and reach to about here. Is it going to be that much of a scary sign? In my opinion, definitely no. Because here's the deal. In quant, I'm thinking we may actually have from this point a 1, 2, and then decent move up into our wave 3 to about here, correction for 4, and this can be another move on the upside into wave 5. And what happens after a 5 wave up? You know what? A correction structure on the downside, and I do believe that the current move down in quant starting from the highest side in here about $170 does look like a correction structure. And on a higher degree, well, okay, this is an insanely bullish setup. You can definitely argue, look, this is a wave 1, and then correction for wave 2, and after our correction is over, we are going to have a big move up into wave 3, 4, 5, and this thing is indeed for now my primary scenario. So based on this, what if we get a move down and reach to about here? At that point, I think I also told you in the previous video, I'm going to start thinking about opening some long positions and definitely not selling my QNT tokens. Absolutely not. I'm not going to do that. And you can bet right in here, I am definitely going to go quite heavily long in QNT. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's video. In terms of midterm structures, in quant, we are looking absolutely magnificent. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. And if you believe that in the cycle, we are going to have an alt season, I promise you QNT is also going to participate in it. And we just do not have anything to be worried about. Now, on the other hand, if you believe that we're not going to have an alt season and our move up in Bitcoin is over, and from here we are going to start a massive bear market, then okay, you probably shouldn't listen to anybody in YouTube or Twitter. Just get your money out of the market as long as you can and never ever look back. For me, I don't believe that our bull run is over, and this thing right in here, in my opinion, is just the beginning of it. And moves like this, if you have been in the previous cycle, are just very normal. I have seen this so many times in the previous cycles that at this point I'm kind of numb to it. But if this is your first cycle and you are new to this market, you should know that these types of relatively deep moves on the downside in a bull run are very normal, and usually after they are over, we are seeing some very strong bounce back in order to completely cover these moves on the downside as quick as possible. Now, in the short term, in quant specifically, I think if we take this low, we might actually continue our move down and take this one as well. But at that point, I'm hoping that we're not going to go a whole lot lower and we're going to get a very strong bounce back. If we get something like this, okay, that's good. On the other hand, if we continue this move down and reach to about here, that's actually going to be great, because around this area, I'm going to start opening some long positions in QNT in hope that we get the next phase of the bull run and just continue setting higher highs and high lows. So overall, there's just nothing to be worried about in QNT, and I do not believe that we should be scared just because we are having a move on the downside. And this is not specific for QNT. No, in Bitcoin and also a lot of altcoins, we are having something similar, which means nothing really odd is happening in here. So I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in QNT's chart. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next video, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.